All right, let's talk about this main subject here, and that is YouTube. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because YouTube is such a powerhouse. It's amazing. It helps me pay my bills. And you got to understand, YouTube could go away tomorrow. I've already dealt with it. I've been doing this for 11 years. I've seen even the famous ones come and go. I used to stream live on Ustream. That's gone. It's still there, but it's more on corporate level. Blip.tv. This was when I realized, hey, you need to have a pack up and go system. Because Blip.tv, very famous, they actually put together a revenue model, making model for videos. And then YouTube kind of made their version. I'm assuming that they probably looked at Blip and they said, we can do that too. And they did do that. And they made it very powerful. And now we're here in 2019. Yeah, 2019. And they are a powerhouse. And a lot of people say, oh, YouTube's dead. Their algorithms changed. So this YouTuber is going to leave and that YouTuber is going to leave and blah, 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 blah. That Twitch guy is going to go to there and there and there. But the reality is YouTube is a top search engine. YouTube, multiple videos, billions of views a day. And it's a big C too. So everybody, it's like somebody's got the pipe and they're just throwing salmon into the lake, and you want to find the right salmon. Did you see that video of the salmon getting transported from one lake to the other? Anyway, the whole point is that it was that's what YouTube is. It is a big machine, and you've got to put your stuff into the machine right, or else it gets spit right out. Now, first of all, I'm going to debunk this myth, and if you find an article from Google, YouTube, Alphabet, not from Joe Blogger, if you find something that YouTube says, we demote any videos that are audio only with just a picture on there, then I'll retract this statement. But I'll tell you, I searched the big machines and I did not see any verbiage that said that your show is going to get demoted because it's an audio only and you just got a photo in front of it. So let's take a small step back here. What do I mean by this audio podcast? So basically, this is what it would kind of look like. Maybe I'd have an image like Geekazine Live. Maybe I'd have something a little bit more structured, like having the episode name on it, having a picture on it, or something like that. But this is all you see on YouTube as I'm talking. That's it. Nothing else. So what people are saying is that if you put your audio podcast up on YouTube, that it's just one picture and you're going to get horrible interaction and you're going to get people are not going to watch it. They're going to leave early or whatnot. And it's not worth it. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I'd like to believe if you get 10,000 people watching or listening to your podcast, you should be able to get a good amount of people consuming it from YouTube. In fact, they might consume it more from YouTube if they are more of a YouTuber, as in they have YouTube Premium and anything like that. And those functions, like the ability to listen to the YouTube instead of watching the video. And YouTube is really structured it this way now, because I can pull up my phone, I call up the YouTube app, and I can watch the video with closed captioning without calling it up. And then I click on it, and of course I get the video. Now, if as a premium member, I can then close the phone, put it in my pocket, put my headphones in, and still listen to the YouTube audio without having to watch the video. So what does it matter if you have a static screen or if you have moving video? It doesn't. Doesn't at all. So first of all, debunking this myth that YouTube demotes your video simply because you have a single screen on it. No, it doesn't work that way. YouTube, the YouTube algorithm is pretty straightforward. Amount of people that are consuming that aren't spam or fake views or anything like that. The amount of time that they consume it. If they're on your show for a minute 30, yeah, if they're on your show for 5 minutes or 6 minutes, then all of a sudden, hey, something a little bit more here. So, and believe me, I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. And yeah, it helps in the video, but the reality is, if the content is engaging and you're learning something from it, you are going to watch it. You're going to listen to it. And most of you, maybe you're not even looking at the screen right now, but you're listening to what I'm saying because you want to know a little bit more about this subject. And maybe if you have premium, you take your phone, you put it in your pocket, put on your headphones and listen to me while you're in the car, while you're at work, whatever. So you get the idea. It doesn't matter what you have as long as you follow the content guidelines, the terms of service, and you don't put on any copyright material. This includes audio and video, and we won't even get into the fair use usage part of it. But as long as you don't have copyrighted content in there, you're fine. As long as you don't promote anything that they say you can't promote, like I think sex and guns and gambling and certain things like that, hate speech. As long as you're not doing that, you're fine. Is your video more engaging with video? Yeah, okay. But if you don't want to be on camera and you want to do something like this, then you should be able to put it on YouTube. Now, putting it on YouTube, even if you don't get that many views, even if you don't get that many subscribes, it's still a great way. Even if you have 5 listeners that consume your content through YouTube and they are influenced by you, what does it matter? I've always said I'd rather have a podcast with 1 listener that's very active and I influence them to the point where if I say, hey, buy this mug over on the merch store, then they go and buy this mug over on the merch store. Rather than 10,000 people that do absolutely nothing. Yeah, I'm like 5 episodes behind. I'll listen to it later, maybe next week or something like that. Just because you have 10,000 subscribers doesn't mean you have 10,000 active people. Because it runs, technically, if you don't know about the 1,000 to 101 rule, basically 1,000 people find your video, 100 people actually will watch your video, and 1 person will interact with your video. And then you get a super fan, that's 0.1 or 0.001. So, and that takes a lot. In fact, I look at my YouTube stats and I see people subscribing and then unsubscribing. And sometimes they close out their channel. Sometimes they get banned by YouTube. Sometimes they're not in that field anymore. They don't have to worry about a podcast. They don't have to worry about technology. So they'll go over to the basket weaving stuff. And that's all well and good. Don't get discouraged because somebody unsubscribes from you. It just might mean that things have changed in their life and they don't need to consume the content that you have to give. It's not a big deal. Okay, where were we? Sorry, I thought there was a new comment there in the show notes. Anyway, let's move on from there. The stats are a key right there. These stats are not meant for the audio podcaster. So the audio podcast, you can get some great stats off of these podcasts, off of this. You can find out when people are leaving your channel, stop listening to you, and you can do something about it. So now one good thing to do, if you have something like this, and you find out that at the 1.5 minute mark, people are starting to drop out, maybe because it's the video. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's put an intro here. And then let's go back to here. Kind of change it up. Maybe have this as a moving image. You can definitely you can go over to Fiverr and you can say, hey, make me something 720p that has my picture on it, that has my logo on it, that, you know, that I could possibly put in some text later on saying what the episode is, but it has some moving stuff, maybe a little waveform on the bottom that looks like, you know, I'm coming from the radio station, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. Is you make it for YouTube, and you might be making your podcast for iTunes. Totally different platforms. And both platforms can really work for you. And like I said, you can do 10,000 on iTunes, maybe 1,000 on YouTube. That's 11,000 right there. And then all of a sudden, you might come out and look at your YouTube stats, and all of a sudden it's 5,000. It's like, what the heck happened? Well, the next part of what I'm talking about with YouTube podcasting, and that is promoting your podcast, doing exactly what the YouTubers do. And you should call up one of these YouTube channels. I do YouTube videos every now and then myself that talk about things that you should be doing that are different from your podcast. I'll give you a good example. And this is just something I started realizing. Last year, YouTube started to allow hashtags in the title. Now, you can't go over 100 characters. In fact, your main title should be about 60 to 70 characters at the most. But then you can put up to 3 hashtags in there. Some YouTubers have this ability. They've been put in a special container where those hashtags don't show up in the title. They'll actually show up above the title. But if you don't have that, I'm one of them, you still have the ability to have those 3 hashtags linkable. What that means is, for this one, when I post just the segment on YouTube, I'm going to have hashtag podcast on there. That's hashtag podcast. When they click on podcast, that's going to take them to a new page. And all of a sudden, it's going to have a list of other videos that have the hashtag podcast on it. Get the idea? Playlists are pretty much the same without the hashtags. I put this into a podcast playlist. I put it in a few different playlists so people can consume down the line. And of course, with the hashtags, they'll be able to pick and choose a little bit better. But with those hashtags, they have a little... They can discover your stuff, and then they start discovering more stuff. Because YouTube, ultimate goal is to bring you there and take you down the rabbit hole. And they're expecting you as the creator to take people down that rabbit hole. And if you're not taking them down the rabbit hole, they do have a way to burrow into your rabbit hole to get them to another area. Which is why you can go from video to video to video and not be the exact same creator. But you want to show YouTube that you can get them to listen or watch multiple videos. You get them to do 3 of your videos at one time, on average, then all of a sudden, you know, YouTube's going to start rolling out the red carpet for you, whether you're an audio podcast or whether you're a video podcast. Let's move on from there. If you promote, if you do what YouTube, if you work it like a YouTube channel, then you're going to find, if you've got 10,000 subscribers on iTunes, you're going to get subscribers on YouTube. Even if those are the same people, it's one and the same. If Bob's over here and Bob's over here, Bob starts watching on YouTube. All of a sudden, he's in the YouTube infrastructure. Doesn't matter how he got there. He's there. And with YouTube infrastructure, anybody that's ever set up a website or a podcast feed knows that YouTube, you can do a lot of things and make it 100 times easier to set up than on your website. Because people have to remember to go to geekazine.com. But they know YouTube. They can find Geekazine on YouTube. That works there. But keep in mind, that's all about promotion. So if you have a podcast and you bring it over to YouTube and you don't tell anybody that you're over on YouTube as well, or you put it in passing, oh yeah, we're on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. You need to do it like this. We are on YouTube. Go over to youtube.com/Geekazine. Subscribe right now. Hit that bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. Yeah, the next video comes out. You know, the little annoying thing on your computer that pops up saying, hey, the next video just came out. Better go watch it. You get the idea. So you keep up on YouTube, just like you would your podcast, because you find plugins on your website to promote your podcast. You make sure that it's on Twitter, and you make sure it's on Facebook, and you make sure it's on Reddit, and you make sure it's on LinkedIn. And if you're not doing that on YouTube, forget about it. Forget about it. You put that into the machine, and the machine will make happy. Now, if you're on YouTube and you say, okay, I want you to go over to my Facebook page and watch the rest of the... I'm only going to put this one up here, but then you got to go over there for the rest of it. YouTube's going to go, not going to happen. And then you don't get found. But if you put constant content out there, that is the key. Now, one more thing that I want to talk about, and somebody said, well, you should really put it into another channel. Create another YouTube channel. You create another YouTube channel if the content that you're doing is different from what you're doing. Like, for instance, there was a news article that said that Marcus Brownlee just created a new YouTube channel. Now, it's okay. I know there's a few YouTubers that say that you should have at least 2 YouTube channels out there, because then they can play off of each other, as long as you make it so they play off of each other. Like, for instance, Lon.tv, perfect example. He has the main channel, and he has the back channel, where all the unboxings and stuff like that happen. And, you know, if you look at his numbers, they are 2 different sets of numbers, because people don't want to know about the unboxing. They want to do the regular one. I have a couple different channels. Geekazine, which is all about the tech and music tech. And then I have another channel, which I've created music, and I put it on there. So that's the way you should look at it. So if this podcast is about basket weaving, nothing about technology, yeah, I'll create another YouTube channel. But if it's not, I'm not going to create a whole new YouTube channel just for that. I am going to create playlists. I'm going to create hashtags. I'm going to create keywords that you don't find. If you're looking for basket weaving, you find me as a basket weaver. You don't find me as a tech guy. If you look for tech stuff, you'll find me as a tech guy and not as a basket. Maybe 1 or 2 basket weaving videos will pop in every now and then. And you'll go, he does basket weaving? That's kind of weird. Huh. That's a strange guy. Why isn't this button working? There we go. No. There we go. Anyway, sorry about that. So Kenny W. Briggs goes, a person can do their own intro and exit on LumaFusion if you use an iPad or iPhone. Oh yeah, LumaFusion, that's an awesome program. I'm going to be reviewing this program. I just put it on my computer. It's called Cyberlink Power Director 17. It comes with screen recorder, and it comes with the ability to take photos and put it into a video. You can do that. You put some text on it, say episode 12. You got moving text. Boom. You got an intro song, you got an outro song. You can do that too, if you want to. But that's content that you can put in there. Now, we also talk about the demoting on that. Think of it this way. Have you ever run into... You're looking for something like best new cars of 2019. And then you get these videos, which is an automated voice saying, these are the best new cars of 2019. Starting with the... And of course they have all these pictures. You know, they're taking Creative Commons or domain free photos, and they're putting it into I can't remember the name of the effect, but basically it takes the picture and it kind of zooms it out a little bit, zooms it in, moves it to the left, moves it to the right. So you have this little William Shatner looking thing right there, and it works because they get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. Did they get demoted? YouTube knows that that's a problem, but if it's informational, is it a problem? When you have Looper have a person talking and they show pictures of the Avengers while they're talking about the next phase of Marvel, nobody's on the video. Nobody's talking head like mine. In fact, they say talking heads are horrible. I should start doing pictures. I should start doing zoom-ins that don't work. Why isn't this zoom in not working? Cheese and crackers. There we go. Now it's out. Anyway, I'll do it this way. Now it's in. Now it's out. I'm still having a problem with that. Anyway, so you get the idea. Is that if you have your audio podcast, you want to put it in the video podcast form, you can do that. Put it on YouTube. Tell people, hey, this is a podcast, an audio podcast. You can find it on iTunes, but I want you to subscribe over on YouTube because this is the platform you know. You might not know iTunes. You might have that podcast app on your iPhone. You don't use it, but you use your YouTube. So go ahead, hit that bell. And that bell will tell you that I've got a new video out talking about how you can put your podcast on YouTube. And you'll consume it, and you'll be happy on it. And I'm going way over on this, but you get the idea. I'm very frustrated because I think that there's no documentation that says that YouTube does not like the fact that you put an audio podcast onto YouTube. Do they want it with video? Yeah, it'd be great if you did. But there are so many people that are doing this without that, and they're still getting the numbers. And, okay, so you have 10,000 people in iTunes, and you get like 3 downloads on YouTube, and you go, oh, this isn't worth it. It's not worth my time. Did you make it worth your time? How much did you promote that? How much did you put that on? Did you, what did you do to promote, to put it all together? Some people say, well, you shouldn't take the whole thing. You should take little snippets and put it onto YouTube, put it onto Facebook. And then, but they're still saying, put it back in, make that machine go back to the iTunes. Well, here's the kicker. YouTube doesn't want you to leave YouTube. Facebook is not going to want you to leave Facebook. LinkedIn won't want you to leave LinkedIn. Twitter definitely doesn't want you to leave Twitter. iTunes does not care. You got your RSS feed? Yeah, that's all well and good. There's nothing. If your RSS feed just points to YouTube, that's cool. I don't see anything of this caring. I think this is, out of all the ultimate robotic machines, iTunes is the most plastic out of them. Because as long as you don't have copyright material, as long as you don't have hate speech, as long as you don't, you follow those guidelines, you can put it on there. And if you're not on iTunes, that's okay. You can, if you have an RSS feed. However you distribute that RSS feed is up to you. There are many podcasts out there that aren't even on iTunes that do really well. And chances are they have an agenda that doesn't fit any of these areas. And that's why they are on their own private area. And people listen, people watch, and they subscribe in however way they do it. So YouTube should be something that you should do. Definitely, you don't have to. You can put thought into it. You can run down the lists and say, what are the pros? What are the cons? Okay, I'm not going to do YouTube. I don't want to convert my audio to video. Even though there are some platforms out there that now start to do, like Kenny was talking about LumaFusion. You have to do that on your own. But I know Libsyn, perfect example. Libsyn. Podcast hosting company Libsyn takes their video, your audio, and all you have to do is go in there, go to the settings and say, I want it as a YouTube video. And then they'll give you a graphic, put it in there, boom, it's up on YouTube. I'm assuming you'll be able to download it and put it up on Facebook, put it up on IGTV, put it up on LinkedIn, wherever you want to. So it's another way to do it. But there's work to be done. And the best way to do it is to watch some of those videos on how to gain your first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you got 10,000 people on iTunes, that shouldn't be a difficult thing to do. And don't worry about monetization. That's the number one thing I tell YouTubers is don't worry about monetization. You can make money off YouTube even if you don't have monetization, have AdSense. Eventually, if you bring the 1,000 people to YouTube and you get the watch time or listen time in this case, they'll give you the monetization, and then you grow. I have 16,000 subscribers on Geekazine, YouTube Geekazine channel. It makes me money because I feed the YouTube beast the way it wants to be fed. And because of that, people consume, They comment, I reply, they like, the other people see it, they subscribe. I put videos out there to be seen so people can come in and make their own decision to subscribe or not. And it makes me money. Some YouTubers, it makes a lot more money than me. For me, it pays a lot of my bills. A lot of my bills. And I'm only expecting it to grow in the next year to pay even more of my bills. And then I get other things from it. I mean, the affiliate codes always are available there. Unlike Facebook, I can't put a graphic up on Facebook that would be like an ad buy or something like that, because that's against their rules. But on YouTube, I can do that all the time. So I can say, this is sponsored by blah blah blah. Go to blah blah blah.com and do that, and then have an affiliate link in the show notes. An Amazon affiliate. Oh my goodness. My Amazon affiliate does great, and it pays a couple bills on its own. So you get the idea. It's more than just one thing, and it's just crazy how you can take both of these entities and make them into their own money-making machines. So next time somebody says, putting an audio podcast on YouTube, it's stupid, it sucks, it's not going to happen. Well, tell them that you got to put some time into it. In premium, anybody that's got a premium account can listen and not watch creation of podcast or whatever content that they're looking for. And you can definitely make money off of it. And so anybody that tells you otherwise is A, wrong, and B, not doing it the way that they should be doing it. That's a hard truth.